Hey y'all, it's Laura and I am back with another process video for you today, and this one's in real time. Had a couple of these this month because I had done some pre-made backgrounds and was using some pre-made backgrounds this month. Now this one we made in a Friday live, and I stamped out 3 different backgrounds using some Vicki Boutin stamps that I had included in my April stash kit. And so I decided to go ahead and use this one along with this last little triangle from a Hip Kit piece of paper that I had used for a scrap lift Sunday this month. And I loved this paper. It had a bunch of big chevrons and bright, beautiful colors. And I was determined to use every single scrap of it because I don't keep scraps. I will put some scraps in with the collection they belong in. For example, if I'm keeping a Paige Evans collection, I will put those scraps in with that collection because that's how I'm likely to use them. But I don't keep like a separate collated box of scraps. I just don't reach for them. I know I won't use them, so I try to use every last little bit of my paper in my kits, and then I call it quits. So I really wanted to get this last little piece used of this paper, and I had these 2 really sweet photos of my oldest daughter, Charlie, who has an absolute adoration for animals. And she just has a way about her that animals come to her. They trust her. And they must just feel something about her to know that she's safe. And my dad was the same way, and I think I am the same way as well. I've always gotten along with animals, even rowdy ones, and she's just that way, and I love it. It's like she's channeling that little bit of my dad, and hits the soul. Love that. So I'm bringing in some of these stamped leaves and some fussy cut florals from the Vicki Boutin April kit that I created. And I'm just going to tuck those in around my photos to help blend and blur the lines between the stamped background and the embellishments in the foreground. So because I'm overlapping that stamping, it looks like it was all intended to sit just so, when in reality I've created this stamped background on a whim, on an idea of a general thought process of how I might use it. So I'm bringing in some of these stickers. I have a label sticker here that has gold. Now when I place it, it looks neon green on camera, and that threw me for a minute when I was editing. But it is in fact gold, a gold foiling, and that's what's catching my lights. But oh man, I will be honest, I stared at that bright green label for quite a while before I realized, no, it was not bright green. It's actually gold. So I'm bringing in some of these little punched hearts that I have left over. No, they're not punched. These are fussy cut hearts from the 6x8 paper pad that I included in this kit. And then I have some tiny punched hearts as well. And what I typically do is I will fussy cut a whole page of florals like I did with this kit, and then often there will be a background color that I like, and so I'll punch out hearts or stars or something like that and use them as my scattering, my little detail pieces to add to finish off a layout. In this case though, these are mostly fussy cut hearts, and I'm going to tuck them in amidst the florals. I will come back and add a third one in just a moment. I really tried to make this butterfly work on this layout, but it was just too big. In retrospect, it probably would have been fine up here in this top right corner, but instead it just moves around the layout trying to find a home, and my brain just kept concentrating on it a little too much. It was grabbing my attention a little bit too much, and I always want the focus to be on the photos. So if I notice something on the layout that's pulling my attention away from the photos, I'm generally going to remove it. Even if it could work, I am probably going to remove it. So I'm fussy cutting out a few of these stickers because I don't like the white border around stickers. I think it highlights them and draws your attention into the sticker, and I don't like that. I typically use stickers for clustering, and so I want them to fade into the background. I don't want them to be the highlight on the page. So again, here's that little butterfly, trying to make it work, trying to make it a thing. It's not a thing, at least not on this layout. And it could have fit just there on the left, But again, I felt like it was just pulling my attention in too much, and I think it's because it was red. It was a very bright color and was just grabbing my attention entirely too much. Now I'm bringing in the chipboard, and I only have about half a pack of this chipboard, and so I am really making an effort to try to pull in as many of these as I can, make a little dent in it. There's a lot of sayings on this one though, not a lot of icons, and so it's been slow going and using it because there's just so much on here, which is a good problem to have. It's just something where I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a dent in this chipboard on this kit. Probably not. Honestly, because there's just so much to pick from. So I am pulling in a few bits and pieces though. I brought in a circle that is pink and fits beautifully in with that floral at the top, and then this light pink sentiment here I'm just going to tuck into the other floral cluster just to have 2 hits of that chipboard on the page so that it doesn't stand out as being the only piece. Now I considered using these black alphas that I had put in my kit, and I'm not sure I've used those on a single layout so far. I don't know why. They're beautiful. They're Vicky Boutons, but they're big, and I just haven't reached for them at all. So instead I grabbed these pink paisley thickers. They're tiny, they're rose gold, and they're absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to tuck in my title up here at the top left, but my title is Dog Whisperer, and it just wouldn't fit in the stamped area. And so I decided, no, Laura, this is not going to work. These are the smallest stickers you own. It's probably better to go put these along the bottom right side of that triangle. And in the end, I really like it there. It ends up getting a little bit separated by my photo. So it says dog, and then there's the photo corner, and then whisperer. And I don't love that, but I do like the way it just kind of flows along the side of that triangle, and even kind of adds a bit of accent to how angular the base is underneath of my photos. And I kind of like that. It's something different that I don't often do. And I will cut ahead in just a minute to all of them being placed because I was very, very picky in making them nice and straight because they're on an angle. And it was tricky. It was hard, but we got there in the end. So this is about the point when I realized this butterfly is just not going to work. It's too big. And so what I end up doing is bringing in this little butterfly here instead. And it looks very green on the screen, but it's actually kind of yellow and has a hint of green, but it's not as neon as it looks on the camera. And then I'm going to bring in my pink, with pink rose or antique rose, something like that, Nuvo drops, so that they kind of go with the rose gold alphas, and do some little butterfly trails behind my butterflies and bees. And I really love the bit of movement this gives to the layout. It kind of makes it feel a little more real, and I really, really like that. I really like the idea that these little critters are flying around the florals, and so I'm going to add it behind the butterfly, the 2 bees on the left, and the bee up on the right, and then I'll come in with some Heidi Swapp Color Shine and do some splattering in gold, which, because there's so much yellow on here, it works. It's not a lot of yellow, I guess, but it really is little pops of yellow, and so I'm able to bring in that gold without too much trouble. Adding in a couple more hearts here on the left side of this photo because I felt like there was some trapped space. Now that I've added that butterfly and the butterfly trail behind it, it felt like there was some trapped space there, so I'm just filling it in with some of those fussy cut and punched hearts, and then I will bring in some enamel dots for some scattering. I always finish off my layouts with this kind of detail work. We add little Nuvo drop trails, we add enamel dots, and then we do our splattering. And these little touches really take a layout from, oh, that's nice, to, wow, that's really detailed. And in this case, I'm using the enamel dots to fill in the stamped florals. So I'm giving my stamped florals a little bit of dimension and bringing them just a hair forward in the design so they don't just feel like they're stuck in the back. They are part of the forward design. And I really like how this upgrades those stamped florals just a little bit. I really, really enjoy those. Those enamel dots came from the December hip kit, I believe. I'm trying to work my way through that kit before I break into the March one that I just got my hands on. So here is my splattering with Heidi Swap Color Shy, and I'll be wrapping this one up in just a moment. I hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and until next time, bye guys!